Hi, I'm Scott Peterson, and I am the producer, director, and editor of Hitchhiking to the Edge of Sanity. This is my fourth documentary, and I'm right in the middle of production, but I need your help to complete it. It's the story of these two wide-eyed Kansas kids who traveled across Europe and then hitchhiked across the Sahara in 1970 and 71. Now, when I was a kid, my Uncle Steve used to tell me these crazy stories from this post-college trip he took where he had a mental breakdown. Steve's high school friend, Dick Russell, had asked him if he had wanted to go to Europe to take pictures for his newspaper stories that he had planned to write. Now, Steve is still a photographer and kept a ton of pictures from the trip, and Dick kept a journal using his portable typewriter, so there's a lot of really great documentation that I'm planning to use. Now at the time, Dick was fed up with US politics, so he was hoping to meet like-minded people in Europe and then later in Africa. Now during the trip, they had all sorts of things happen to them. They had their car stolen twice, police almost arrested them in Amsterdam for photographing a Dutch anarchist weed purveyor, which they did in front of the police station. They were kicked out of an Ashanti tribal chief's palace. They were stranded for 30 hours in the Sahara waiting for a ride. And they also had to dodge heavily armed Algerian soldiers right in the middle of the desert. Unfortunately, they accepted a ride from a Marxist philosophy spouting Dutch narcissist who deliberately ditched the vehicle into the sand simply because he enjoyed watching Steve and Dick dig it out in the oppressive Sahara heat. Steve's fiancée was also waiting for him back at home, and she would write him these heartfelt letters asking when he was coming back to Kansas so they could get married. And since there wasn't a place to develop any of the film, Steve didn't even know if his pictures were any good. Plus, Steve and Dick were having a personality clash and they were butting heads. And all this resulted in Steve having a mental breakdown once they reached Ghana. At the start of the trip, they were just a couple of innocent Kansas kids just out of school who were looking for an adventure and a way to understand and change the world. Eventually, though, they learned that the concept of revolution is quite complicated and maybe not as romantic as they thought. While on the surface, it might just seem to be a road trip, but really it's a universal story of friendship, finding oneself, and coming to terms with how the world functions. Now, the reason I'm doing this movie is because I'm really passionate about travel. I shot my last documentary in Mexico, and I think that you learn the most about yourself and others by getting out of your comfort zone and experiencing life. I need your help to pay this guy, Pete Biaggi, my cameraman, and this guy, Patrick Kirst, my composer, and do a bunch of other technical stuff like color correction, sound mixing, graphics, that sort of thing. Now, if you donate, there are a bunch of really cool premiums. You can get DVDs, you can get tickets to screenings, and you can even get custom prints of Steve's photographs, and those are going to be really cool. So if you have any questions, you can go to the website or the Facebook page, or you can even drop me a line. I'd be happy to hear from you. So I hope you can donate, and feel free to spread the word, and thank you very much.